Anyway, boys, thanks for letting me do this podcast at Grappling Education. Cal, this is your gym.
Yes, my man. What do you want to know about it? What can I tell you?
Bro, tell me how it all started. How did you...
Man, I have ADD, I reckon, and that's how it started. So basically, like, I was just really, I was bored, right? And where I was at my old gym, I wasn't happy with the training that was going on there. And I just jumped online. I was like looking at like different spaces and found this space and had no intention of like starting a gym. But found the space, like rang up the guy, and then the next day I was signing a contract, like for the gym with no mats, no space, nothing, like just on a whim. And I was actually Bitcoin mining. So like I had a Bitcoin mining setup and it was right at the boom of Bitcoin.
You were actually mining Bitcoins
at
home?
At home, yeah.
What?
I had like 2 huge Bitcoin machines like set up in my room.
Yeah.
And I was mining Bitcoins at that point in time. So I had like amassed an amount of Bitcoins.
Yeah.
And like I just got the gym and I had to like sign the lease, and I had like no money for the lease. And I had all these like, not heaps of Bitcoins, but a fair amount of money in Bitcoin. And I'm like umming and ahhing. I'm like, man, I just have to take the money out of Bitcoin and open the gym. And I was kicking myself for doing it. I took all the money out of Bitcoin on like the 18th of December, and then Bitcoin crashed 5 days later. So it was like just by chance that I had the money to open the gym from the Bitcoins, and then started from there, and it was just enough to cover like the bond, the first 3 months of rent and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then I had no money for anything else. And I was like flat broke. And then from there just got mats, and then pretty much struggled for the last year and a half. And then in the last 6 months, it's like started to make a turnaround where it's coming strong now, the gym. Yeah, that's the story pretty much.
So you're getting some permanent people coming in and paying the memberships and, you know, becoming a little family.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Like, it's the family kind of thing. Like when I opened this gym, I opened it because I didn't have a place that I liked training in. That's basically what it came down to. Because I just wanted to find a place where I could train in the way I wanted to train. And I thought it'd be super simple. I thought it's like just paying like rent for a house and that's all you got to cover. But I was like so wrong. I was so wrong with all that. Like you actually do have to treat it as a business, which I still suck at. Like I'm not good at doing that.
Yeah.
But luckily, I think we've just got a really strong team. And like between me and Tito and all the other guys in the gym, we're like building up a name for ourselves. And that's just bringing people in. It's growing exponentially, I think.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met you at Igor's MMA like a few years ago. You used to come in and wrestle with the boys and, you know, throw everybody around. And back then you didn't have a gym. I didn't even know where you were training. You were coming in with Josh.
Yeah, man. That was Igor MMA back in the day, or back then when it was me, Josh, and you guys, was just a killer session.
Yeah.
Like I remember the first time I heard about Igor MMA was I was training with Harry, and Harry told me about Max and Tom, and it was like, man, there's this Russian dude who trains at Igor MMA, and he's not human, bro. like he's not human. Like we touch him, bro, and he's like made of steel. Like I've never felt anyone like that. And I'm like, whatever, bro. Like you're just like shit. There's no way that's true.
Yeah.
And that's what's going through my head. But I knew that Harry was strong, and then I came to Igor MMA, and I've never experienced anything like Max. You've wrestled Max.
Yeah, man, I can't do anything, man. It's like I'm like a fly hitting a fucking you know windscreen. You know, like,
You got to wrestle this guy, Tito, man. It's like Max, man, could just walk into ADCC and win it, pretty much.
Pretty much.
With like 2
no
months of
training.
Yeah, he'd have to like spend 2 months, 3 months avoiding the leg lock game, and he could almost win ADCC. Just a freak. Yeah.
I remember actually years ago there was somebody came in to Igor's MMA and he was doing a one of those seminars, and he was like a 6-time world champion, BJJ black belt heavyweight. I think it was about 130 kilos, and Max threw him around like a rag doll, submitted him like 4 or 5 times in one round, and he was like, well, whatever, you know, just another training day.
Yeah.
It's like, what the shit, this guy's 6-time world champion, you know, like heavyweight. So, yeah, some people are fucking savages.
Oh man, it's crazy that there's savages like that, unheard of. You know, like that just don't want to compete.
Speaking of savages, Tito, man, you're winning fucking everything under the sun, fucking killing everybody. What's going on?
Yeah, only in Australia.
Tell me about this last comp you just went to.
Yesterday?
No, no, the weekend before, no, the last weekend, not this weekend.
Last weekend. Also Berlin.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I competed with my two teammates.
Yeah.
I did compete. It was very fun.
Yeah.
Especially like 'cause when you're fighting teammates, you know each other's games so well. And it's not an easy fight. You have to go into a strategy. But
How many fights did you have on the day?
that day I only entered one division, and like no one wanted to enter that division. Seeing like 3 grappling education guys in one division was like. So it was just myself, Aiden, and some other guy from Germany. Yeah.
How do you feel, man? You must be pretty proud. There's 3 of you guys.
Oh,
First, second, third.
Bruh. I think like we're a tiny gym. We're so small. Like I was looking at our memberships. I reckon for adults we've got like 35 members. That's it. Like basically nothing.
Basically nothing. Yeah.
But the quality of the guys here is just insane, and I can solemnly say it's not because of coaching. Like you can have the best coach in the world, and he's not going to make that much of a difference if the guys aren't there and in it. And the thing that lifts it up, right, is obviously like you can't be good at every aspect of the game in jiu-jitsu. Like it's just impossible. And if you think you are like that good and that's the structure that you've got, you're delusional. Because there's no way that like Tito's like probably got like certain aspects of the leg lock game that are better than mine, you know?
Yeah.
And there's people that like Hayden who trains you has got a really good K guard. So to imagine that you are the head of the gym and that you've got all the knowledge is ridiculous. And I think what's lifting us up is that we all bounce off each other. Everybody brings in something different.
Yeah.
And we build each other up. So for example, like Tito teaches classes.
Yeah.
I teach classes, Hayden teaches classes, all the lower belts still teach classes. And I think we all have mutual respect for each other and the aspect of jiu-jitsu that they've got. And that's what's lifted the level up so big, like so quickly.
What's your go-to thing? What's your game like?
My game plan?
Yeah, what would you say your game is like?
I actually invented mother's milk.
Okay, here we go. It was gonna pop up.
Sooner or later, I was just waiting for it.
Okay, boys, tell me about this mother's milk. What's going on? Tito.
Well, I don't know what he's saying, but you know, I don't know. I somehow, this technique, the mother's milk, basically it's the scaffold chest compression. So, you get them in that position, you submit them, but you lift their head up, so they're basically like sucking your nipple. Just imagine you're sucking a sweaty rash and you're drowning. It's just
Yeah.
milk comes from your breast, so.
Man.
But actually, neither of us, me nor Tito, invented that move.
Yeah.
It was actually Mark, who's one of the guys that trains at our gym.
Yes.
He's 140 kilos, and he's got massive nipples, like massive pecs. And man, like I thought I was fine, like stopping that Keza crush. And then one day, like Mark, who's like got like massive bare mitt hands, like had me in the Keza, and just grabbed my head and just pushed like my jaw like slowly into his nipple. And like, man, it's the worst feeling. Like imagine a 140 kilo man and like you're like breathing like through his like rash guard and nipple sweat. And like, dude, I've never tapped quicker in my life, like when it happened. And then I realized, like, I'm like, Tito, bro, like, Mark come up with this new thing. It's called Mother's Milk. And Tito's like, what? And like, we're like talking about it, and then we did it. He's like, fuck, that works. And then we all started doing the Mother's Milk.
Oh my
And that's
god.
where the term came from. Like, at Subversion, like, Tito was fighting. I don't know if you heard, like, in the crowd, but everyone starts, like, screaming, like, feed him. Feed him, Tito, feed him.
Every competition, everyone gets submission.
Yeah.
Someone's yelling at the crowd, "Mother's milk,
Yeah.
eat him!" Oh, there's the
Fucking
funniest thing
hell.
ever.
That's pretty bad actually.
Yeah,
You know,
it
like
sucks. What sucks is that we can't even claim it. Like, we can't even claim creating the move. Yeah.
well, it did come out of the grappling education.
It did, yeah.
So you can kind of claim it.
Yeah.
It came out of the castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? You went from that competition, popped your shoulder out.
No. This. So that was at Osaboni.
Yeah.
Like recently.
Yeah.
They're very early this, still early this year, but in January, I think it was like. I forgot the day, but I went to the AGC.
Yeah.
I was in the over 77 bracket. I had 3 fights to win the belt.
And one of the fights you popped out the shoulder. Was it the
It was
last
actually in the finals.
in the finals?
I had like a leg entry. I think it was Kate tried to jump over, I hugged his leg, and kicked his leg up really hard, and I just felt my shoulder just go with it, just crack quickly, and just like it was so much. Like I had so much adrenaline, I couldn't feel it, but I could feel the cracks. Like I was moving my shoulder, and it was just like cracking and popping, and it was just and then I ended up tapping out the mother's milk.
No.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You did, savage. Fuck.
And it was funny. Like I was training at M16 before that.
Yeah.
And I was just showing people, how to do it and that. And then they all knew what it was. And so the whole crowd, man, was
Just went wild.
went wild. They all knew. Like some people that didn't know it, they were just staring like, "What's that position?" Because it's like not a popular position. Like usually we're taught in like jiu-jitsu, like kizakatamis. It's like a safe position.
Yeah.
At least that's what I was taught when I was starting jiu-jitsu. And it looked like I was just chilling there. And then like I think he popped his rib. Yeah.
No.
After that, but everyone was just screaming out, vegan.
I gotta see this video.
Yeah. It was crazy, man.
That's cool, man.
It was cool.
Did you compete, Cal, in that one?
AGC?
Yeah.
Nah, man, I'm lazy. Yeah.
He can
Yeah.
win all these comps in Australia, like easy.
I know.
And he can get fights overseas. It's just
But you're a fireman as well, eh?
Yeah, man.
Tell me about that job, bro. It's pretty savage.
Well, I work as an aviation firefighter, which is like, it's a strange job because it's a job where you're waiting for something to happen rather than like always being on the go. So it's a job that's sort of really reliant on like preparation for what you're doing. Sometimes it's hard because the truth is planes don't crash that often. So like,
It's a good thing.
yeah, a lot of our job is training and like drilling and sort of preparing for that to happen. But yeah, it's a really good job. Like the like besides the fact that obviously whenever you're doing a job, it's about the work that you're doing. Like one of the best things about being a firefighter is it's kind of like being in a gym. It's kind of like having a crew in a gym. Like you're hanging out with like the same group of guys and girls. You get along really close, like, and it's a tight-knit group. So it's kind of similar in a way to like being in a jiu-jitsu gym. It's pretty fun. Like it's a really good career. Yeah. But as far as firefighting goes, like we helped out recently. Like we went down to Canberra and helped out with the fires down there last week. We've been doing a little bit with the fires that have been going on lately, but our main like role is at the airport. We're aviation based. So yeah, it's good.
How was the? Tell me about the Canberra trip you did and helped out there. How was that?
To be honest, we did nothing.
Really?
Like, yeah. I wish I could say that I was a hero and I saved like heaps of people. I did absolutely nothing because what we were doing is we were down there in 2003. There were really bad fires in Canberra. I don't know if you heard about them. It was like 450 houses lost. Like it was really full on. I don't think they wanted that to happen again. So we were posted for property protection. I think there was something like 50,000 hectares of land burning up at that point in time. It was like 45 degrees. And we were just there waiting for the wind to turn. If the wind had have turned, it could have been really catastrophic, but it never did. It was like really nice to us. So we were there posted. There was like the army there, like so many resources ready for it to happen, but nothing really ended up happening last week. So yeah.
I think that's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
Good for the people.
Yeah. But yeah. What about you, man? How's your training been going? You've been...
Dude, man, I've been just wrestling. I'm a wrestler, so That's all I do. Like I come down here and watch you guys do all the submissions and stuff and the leg locks, and my knees are just in pain just watching you guys. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, the takedown. You don't do much takedowns, I noticed.
Me personally.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, I did judo for 15, 16 years.
you're a black belt as well.
Yeah.
Judo black belt. Yeah.
And you know, the truth, like, there's a real reason why I did jiu-jitsu over judo and wrestling,
Yeah.
and I can honestly say this. It's because I'm a pussy.
But it's different on your body. You know, if you gotta maintain a full-time job and do wrestling and judo, it's
Yeah, man.
fucking hard.
Bro, I did the Worlds camp, right, at Atos for like the Worlds 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's hard, man. You can imagine, like, there's the best people in the world there training jiu-jitsu. And I was actually there, I was there with Craig Jones. So it was me, Craig Jones, and two other guys from Absolute, and we're all training there together. And I was chatting to Craig, like, we were all fucked by the end of the day, and he was like, man, like, is this the hardest training camp? Or we're talking about, like, is this the hardest training camp you've done? And I was like, it's hard, like, it's really hard, but it doesn't even come close to, like, a state level judo training camp.
Wow.
Because just the nature of the sport, like, judo is just so much harder.
Just the impact. It's
Just
one
the
after the
impact, it
other.
hurts. Like, in jiu-jitsu, if somebody's better than you, it doesn't matter, you just tap. So your ego hurts, but you don't hurt.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
In judo, somebody's better than you, and everything hurts. Like, you feel it in your bones, man. Like, you're scared to fight that person. Like, you literally get up, and the next thing, you know, you're just getting, like, smashed into the mat again and again and again. And it's similar in wrestling.
Yeah.
You fight someone that's better than you, you just get thrown on your head again and again and again. It hurts.
Yeah.
So yeah, the truth is, and you got to put maximum effort in at any point in time you're doing judo.
Always. It's always
Yeah.
explosive. In wrestling,
Yeah.
every move you do is explosive, you know?
You can't sleep on it, man.
You can't, you know, whether you're
You can be lazy in jiu-jitsu.
you can be passive, you can defend, you know, especially if you got good, you know, posture and you got good, you know, you block the other person like really solid, like especially if you build like Tito, it's like a ball of muscle, like a little pit bull. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You can just chill there, fall asleep, and you can't even stab them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I was thinking, Tito, was because of your body build, you're very similar to Mark Hunt, all right? But you've got this massive advantage on the ground, and I've seen you do takedowns. I mean, I've seen you you went for a single leg and got a single leg on fucking Whittaker. Well, you got in there. You didn't take him down, but you went and you got in there. You took the shot. You got the single.
Yeah, that was.
So you got some takedowns.
I done it like once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got a takedown once. But I think he just wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
It's like
Dude, you got fucking.
everyone gets scared to wrestling. Like, it's probably yeah, but he's obviously got a champion. But yeah, it's just two different sports. You know? He just wasn't expecting that. So yeah, he was tough. Man. He
Tough?
was strong, like, very strong.
What are you going to say?
Oh yeah, like Robert Whittaker is one of the coolest people to fight in jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
because it's a little bit unfair, I reckon, on Robert Whittaker because if you beat Whittaker, you sound like an absolute boss. You sound like a legend.
Yes.
Right? Like, but the truth is, he's not a straight jiu-jitsu guy.
No.
And it's unfair to go, oh yeah, you know, like I beat the world champion. It's like it's like beating the world champion in chess in Battleship. You know? You beat him in Battleship, and you're like, oh yeah, I beat Magnus Carlsen in Battleship. You know? It's not fair.
It's
Like,
true, yeah.
yeah. So not to take away from like taking down Rob Whittaker, like it's still really impressive.
Yeah.
But I think like there's much more impressive stuff that you've done in your jiu-jitsu career. Outside of like taking on Rob Whittaker, and that's like sometimes the limelight gets put on that because he's a famous person. But for example, beating Habib on the weekend from our gym or taking down Hayden is much more impressive than beating Rob Whittaker, in my opinion
That's
anyway.
what I believe too.
Yeah.
It's like,
Harder. Who do you think was your hardest person you
what ever fought?
Yeah.
Oh, this guy from Tahiti.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was at ADCC. Like, man, honestly, like, if we're just talking about like just the clash of titans,
Yeah.
it was that guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, dude, it was insane. I thought I went in there so cocky. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go tap this guy up. Or the worst mindset I've ever had in my life. Like I should never do that again. And I never have. Like I went in there, saw this guy. I was like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna leg lock him. I started wrestling him, and man, he just like got inside my head. And, man,
With
like,
what? With what? How do
just like man, like just all the shots, and then I was like, I started getting paranoid.
Yeah.
Like, and then he's like, he's a wrestler, man. And then man, we did the 8 things in the finals, because me and him were the only division. So we did an 8-minute fight, just wrestling, man, head cutting, bang, and then I went for a shot, and his knee hit my head, and my head's broken.
Fuck.
And I was just like bleeding everywhere. Went to the thing, patched me up. I was alright, and then man, my head was like all over the place. I was concussed.
Concussed, yeah.
And then we did 5 overtime rounds, 86 overtime rounds. I thought we were supposed to only do 2, but then they just couldn't decide who was winning. And they should have ended it earlier because I did get arm bars on. I did take him down. I just couldn't hold him down for the points.
Oh,
He just
yeah.
got up.
Yeah.
I swear he would smile at me. He's like, oh, yeah, and he just kept me going again, bro. I was like, fuck. But yeah, we did 5 overtime rounds, man.
You know what? When I refed your fight between you and Robbie, that's what I wanted. I wanted extra time because I couldn't decide who won that round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a.
And I said straight up, like, okay, let's go another extra time. And then Ben came up to me and goes like, nah, no extra time, make a decision. And I'm like, fuck.
That's the hardest thing to do.
What do? I've got fucking Whittaker on one side, you know, MMA champ, and I've got Tito, my mate, on the other side, right? And then I was like talking. I went out to the corner, and the guy goes like, look, Tito just subbed them on another match. So this is their second fight. And he goes, honestly, Robbie didn't do anything to show, you know, that he would 100% dominated this fight. And I was like, okay, that was enough for me, really, because I gave a warning to Robbie for stalling because he was stalling on top. All right, and you went for a couple more submissions then.
I got the first. It wasn't a takedown, but I had the first 2 attempts of the takedown.
Yes, that's right.
The single leg.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then the rest I pulled guard. I attacked the leg once.
Yeah.
He escaped and just it was hard. Yeah. It was a weird fight. But, yeah.
So anyway, I gave it to Tito.
You gave the
You bastard. You bastard.
Dude, everyone was like, oh, boo. I'm like, oh, fuck, what are you going to say?
Bro, there's no way you paid him. You don't have a job, man. That's not possible. yeah.
What about you, Kel? Who was your most difficult fight? By the way, I've seen the fight that you had with, what's his name? The 45-minute roll you
Harry,
had.
with Harry?
With Harry, that's right,
Yeah.
with Harry. Was that the fucking toughest fight? Or?
That was tough because, number one, I was fighting like one of my best friends.
Yeah.
So that's really hard. Number 2, we've been training together for 10 years.
Yeah.
And prior to that fight, we trained together, just me and him, like for an hour every day, almost. Like just one-on-one, and knew the ins and outs of one another's game. And number 3, we both have ego.
Yeah, big egos.
Big ego.
Yeah.
And especially against somebody you'd like your best friend, you don't want to lose against that person. And so that was a mental battle, man. Like it really was a mental battle. And yeah, like I think because we knew each other's games, like the same when Tito fought Hayden like last week, you know each other's game in and out. So it's hard in the fact that you've mentally got to be there the whole time and like be switched on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not super difficult because you're familiar with what's going on.
Yeah.
And because you're familiar, it's more like a process. You know what you're bringing to the table, and just somebody has to make a mistake or get tired, and it's going to happen. So I wouldn't say it's my hardest fight or the hardest fight I've had. It's so hard to say what the hardest fight that you've had is.
What is the most interesting one?
The most interesting.
The one that you like, the one that you can't, you're not forgetting.
I can't
Like a
forget.
good story.
Well, me and Tito fought once.
Oh shit! Really in a comp?
Yeah, but it was 15-year-old Tito. It doesn't count. So it's like 6 months ago.
Yeah. How was that? How was that
No,
battle?
that was honestly my. You know what my big thing is that people will make a claim to people that they've beaten like in the past, and it's not fair. Like growing up, me and Craig Jones were in the same division heaps, and like 6 years ago, I was beating Craig all the time. Like every time we'd fight, I'd win. But to say that I'd win now is just ridiculous because he's just gone up level after level after level. Same with like I fought. Yeah, so you fight these people who become world champions, and you can say, oh yeah, I beat that person, but it means nothing. It's about beating the person when they're at their peak. So me fighting Tito 2 years ago and then me fighting him now is a completely different Tito, different thing. Yeah, I just don't like that claim that people make from ages back. And yet, to be honest, all of my fights have been memorable. Like, there's no fight that I can say that was more memorable than the rest. My run to ADCC was really tough because I had 5 fights. Almost all of them went into overtime. It was heavily like wrestling dominant. So, and as you know, wrestling's hard. Like it really sucks all the energy out of you. And that was a real mental game, like to get through all of that. Plus I went into it with really shit fitness. Like my fitness was horrible before the ADCC trials. So yeah, that was probably like, as far as the tournament goes, the biggest struggle because I wasn't in the right headspace. The gym was still in a really shit spot. Like the finances in the gym were all kind of like stuffed up and all that, and I wasn't training properly. So that was really hard for me to get through that tournament. So that's probably like, yeah.
So the mental state is quite important. You know, having you know good like you know atmosphere at home. You know, whether it's like financial or whatever it is, it matters quite a bit. It's not just.
I don't. You know what I think it is. And me and Tito talk about this all the time. And I talk about it with our guys. Is something that's so underestimated in jiu-jitsu and fighting is psychological dominance. And like maybe you'll see it like. The way that Tito competes, and we talk about it together, is it's about getting inside somebody's head and playing with somebody's mind. So a really good example of this, right, is that sometimes when you're watching a fight, right, within the first 10 seconds of watching the fight, you already know who's going to win straight away. Even though the two people might be at the same technical level, you can just see when somebody's broken mentally, like straight off the bat. And for me, when I compete, like I can feel like a huge difference when my mental game is on point and when it's not. Because if your mental game isn't on point, you're not dominating the fight from the start, and then you're on an equal playing field. But if you get inside somebody's head with your confidence and the confidence in yourself, it changes everything. And that's what I struggled with at ADCC. Because my mental game in life was off, then stepping onto the mats, I didn't have that same confidence, and it affects everything.
So nervous, man, but I just like I keep thinking in my head like I trust in my jiu-jitsu. Like I'm not like you can't just walk over me, if that makes sense. Like I sort of just have to put trust in my jiu-jitsu.
Your experience is what, your experience is what goes like, look, you know, like.
And I just think of like my past competition, like man, I've fought in crazy situations, like I just gotta walk in there and just be confident, you know, and fight hard, and just throw down, man, you know. I think, I don't know. I think it's cool to have.
I think I know. Like one thing that I like about the way that you fight is that you can't change the outcome of a fight. Like you literally have no control over that. Right?
Oh, what? Sorry?
You can't change the outcome of a fight.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's you're either going to win or lose. That's basically it. And you don't have a choice over that. What you do have a choice over, Bart, is how much of your game you bring to the table. So if you go into a fight and you're super worried about winning or losing and your focus is, fuck, I want to win the prize money, or I don't want to look like an idiot around my friends or whatever else it is, then you set yourself up for nerves and mental failure. But if you walk into a fight and you have trust in your fitness, trust in your ability, and trust in your training and what you've done, and the only goal that you have is to throw down and fight as hard as you can, and you're not worried about the win or the loss, then you start to remove them nerves about winning or losing, and the nerves should only be about fighting hard. And the win should just come as a byproduct. That's my view on it.
That's really good, man. I like that. I like that. I like the fact that you're not... I mean, the win is there. I mean, that's what you're there for, but you're not focusing on it so much because you haven't gotten there yet. You've got that whole path. You got the whole fight. You know, you got to focus on that part, not the finish.
Yeah, like when there's like a huge bracket, like when you see your opponents there, and like I try not to think about too much about the end. I look at my first fight, I'm like, alright, that's the fight. You know?
Focus on the first one.
Focus on the first, like, I'll be like, oh man, it'll be sick to make it to the finals. Like, as you said, you know, that's what you're there for. You're there to win. But if you want to be in the right headspace, man, focus on that first fight. You know, go and fight as hard as you can.
You know, have you ever had a loss that you're happy with? Yes. Have you ever been happy with a loss?
I think
Because this, coming back to what you were saying, I've lost sometimes and I've been devastated with myself and my performance. And other times I've lost and I've just been like, I'm happy because I put everything on the table. And then the nerves of losing are gone. So if you're not thinking about the win, you're just thinking about how well I fought and how well I'm going to fight, you never have a chance to actually be disappointed. Because if you throw down with somebody who is just better than you and you put everything on the table and you lose, you'll cop that like a champion. Do you know what I mean? Like you accept it. But you lose to somebody that you know you could have beaten and it will eat you up at night. Like you won't sleep, whatever else it is. And yeah, that's that mindset thing.
And I think at the end of it, like at the end of the fight, when you go home, you think about it and you go like, well, you're not thinking about, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. It's like, no, you've done all those things. And now you came to the end and you still lost. And now you go like, okay, I need to improve on this and this and that. You don't go back thinking like, oh, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done that. No, you should have done it when you're in that fight. You know what I mean? Like there shouldn't be that doubt in your head like, oh, maybe I should have went for this, you know? I don't know. I guess
it's true. It's true, man. It's true.
What do you? You know, there's like we talked about this a little bit before, but I wanted to get a bit more of a perspective on it. You know, and get it out there as well. How come this Gracie, whatever the guys, the Baja Gracies, how come they don't do leg locks, and how come do they have separate fucking competitions? What the fuck is that all about? Let's get this out.
You want us to get killed?
Well, no,
I swear to God, they've got assassins that will like take us out, man.
I know because nothing bad to them. I don't want to say anything bad about it. Yeah. That's not the idea. Is that like I train at Sydney Uni and I turn up for training and I see the competition and I'm like, oh fuck, how come I never heard about this competition? What is this? And then somebody kind of quickly explained to me, but I actually don't understand it. And a lot of people don't. So it's not about like, bad shaming Gracie Baja in any way, but it's just to explain why and how come it's all happening. Like what's their idea about jiu-jitsu? Basically, with respect, obviously.
I don't know any specifics about the thing, but from what I heard from other GB members, like they have their own little like Gracie Baja competition.
Yeah.
Like with AFBJ rules, where like I don't know if it's all around Sydney or wherever the gyms are. They go to Sydney Uni.
Yeah.
They have their competition in there. But
and there's no
strictly only Gracie Baja members.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And there's no leg locks. What else is there?
You can only do foot locks.
Only foot locks. And you got to be a member of their gym to do this competition, which is fair enough. I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with that, because we have wrestling in club competitions too. Like, there's nothing. It's just to bring your level up. Just brings everybody's level up when you get in competitions. Another question, man. Are you gonna ever do MMA?
Myself?
Yeah. Have you thought about it?
Oof. MMA. Yeah, I've got a few years to decide for that, but I've got years actually. But I don't know. I was thinking like my goals in jiu-jitsu first is I want to win 80cc trials, Nogi worlds, and I want to win 80cc worlds. Like that's my dream.
That's your dream.
But and I think from there the transition to MMA can be so much easier as well. But obviously, like not with the training, like you have to work hard. And that's it.
Is there money in BJJ? Can you, as an athlete, support yourself and train?
What do you mean? Like when you say support yourself?
Well, like not
to what extent? Because you can't live comfortably,
Yeah.
but you can live. 100% you can live, but definitely not like a king. Yeah.
Would you be able to quit your job as a fireman and do this?
What, and just run the gym?
Yeah, just run the gym.
Not at the moment. There's no
No.
way I could at the moment.
No
Yeah,
way.
No way.
So you still have to work. So that's what I mean. It's such a hard.
But there's a reason why, and the reason why is that I have the world's shittest business model, because our gym focuses on not just athletes, but the top level athletes, right? So there's a statistic, and don't quote me on this because I don't know the exact number, but it's something like only 5%, between 5 and 10% of people that do sport to compete. Right?
Wow.
So if you open a jiu-jitsu gym for competitors, think about jiu-jitsu is big, but it's not that big, right? So you've gone from a sport that's already niche, and you've niched that to 10%, and then of that niche, you've gone, okay, I'm going to go for the niche of training the best competitors out of them competitors. And then suddenly you come down to like this tiny little business model, which is good for me because I love training, but it's shit for business. Like for business, it's bad because we've got really good guys here and they're killers, but it's not an appeal to average Joe that walks off the street to walk in here and you've got like 25 like super sweaty men like throwing down and you're like, oh shit, I'm going to come in and try this class out. Like it's actually not a good business model. So I don't know if I'll ever be able to quit my job because it's not my focus. My focus is just good, hard training. Yeah. That's basically it.
Which is kind of sad in a way, because I wish there was more. I wish there was more money floating around here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But you know what?
So people that want to train can train and support themselves.
Yeah.
You know.
There's one thing that I would love to change, and I'm probably like if this gets posted online,
Yeah.
I reckon it's gonna piss people off.
Okay. Fair enough.
but
I piss people off all the time.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. But man, I honestly think the jiu-jitsu world is fucked. All right? And the reason why it is I think at its current stage, jiu-jitsu is one of the most unprofessional sports in the world. Okay? There is no sports science in jiu-jitsu at the moment. There's no like international governing body. There's IBJJF, but there's so many other bodies. And every gym, almost every gym, is like a cult. And there's no reason for it to be a cult. Like half the gyms that you go to, you're not allowed to train in their gym unless you've got their uniform on
That
and their rash
fucks me
guard
off.
and whatever else it is. And then if you leave that gym, it's like you've been excommunicated from a cult. The coach is like pissed off at you that you left and angry at you and whatever else it is. And like, it's like you owe them something. But people forget, and the coaches forget, that you've been paying them $200 a month for the last 6 years. Like it's literally amounts to something like you've given that coach $14,000 in the last 6 years and he's acting like he owes you something. The truth is, like, you open a gym, it's a business. And if you don't provide good training for that person or like the environment that they should be in, there should never be that mindset of, oh, I'm going to stay at the gym because I want to please my coach. Like it's actually like a really shitty mindset. And I know that the Gracies will say when you have a student, you give your soul to that student, you pour your heart out to the student, right?
Yeah.
That's cool, but don't ask for money back then. So I could understand being cut if you had a gym, right? And you spent all your money on the gym and no one paid fees, right? And you poured all this knowledge and heart out onto these people and then they left you, whatever else it is. but the people in the gym are paying $200 a month. Like,
They're paying to be there.
they're paying to be there. Like, they're paying for a service, and if they leave, they're leaving because you're not giving them that service. There's something in jiu-jitsu that you're not giving them. And it's horrible because nowadays people are just scared. Like, they're scared to leave a gym. They'll be in a gym that is like literally hampering their growth. Like, they've stopped growing in that gym and they feel bad leaving. But the truth is, like, if you want to become a professional in a sport, like, what professional athlete would stay in a tiny, small-time gym if they want to become a world champion in any other sport? Like, it's unheard of. Like, you just wouldn't do it. You literally go and do what suits you to become the best athlete possible. And that's what I want to change. Like I say to the guys here, like, don't tell me if you're going to go and train in another gym. Just go and train. Like, go. And if that gym is better for you, then move to that gym. Like, you shouldn't be like hampered by your coach or that cult mentality. And I'd love to see that change in jiu-jitsu because it's the only way to move forward.
Well, that's how you grow your game as well. And then, Tito might go to another gym and learn some stuff, experience that atmosphere, come back here and show you guys what he just learned.
The thing is, you do that. And it happens all the time. And that's what's making us grow as a gym. Like, I can honestly say this, we are growing really fast. Like, the level is going up and up and up. And people here don't just train here. We train everywhere. We go to different gyms and then come back.
Well, you do. I see you come to Igor's MMA, you go to other places or whatever, you train here.
Yeah,
Tito, you go somewhere else as well?
Yeah. I used to have a nickname as a gym whore.
Yeah.
That was my
Yeah. And now we just call him whore.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Jumping around gyms is cool, man.
Yeah.
I think it's good, man. You get so much information from everywhere. Because everyone has such, like, different games. Maybe you've got, like, this guy's like a specialist in passing or leg locks and wrestling. And, man, I think it's cool as well, man. Like, everyone in Sydney, I think, should be training together. Or all in Australia, just in general.
Yeah, it's good when you go.
Build each other up, man.
It seems more of a family when we all meet up at like Grappling Industries at the competition, and everyone's walking around saying hello to each other, and all the coaches, all the students from all the different places. This is beautiful. I love that. I love going into those comps and walk around and just say hello and see all these faces, and it's mad. I like that. That's how it's supposed to be. It shouldn't be about what I went to one gym in Bondi Junction. I can't remember what the name of it is, but I couldn't train because I brought my gi in, and it wasn't even a gym gi. It was just a gi with nothing on it. I had a Russian flag on it, and the guy was like, "You can't train, man. You can't train in this gi." I'm like, "Dude, it just says Russia." It's nothing there. It's not a gym emblem. He's like, "Nah, man, you gotta get one of our gis or come back with a clean white gi." I'm like,
But see, that's smart, man. I should do that. Like, it's like the best business plan and idea ever. Like, if you want to make money, it's smart.
yeah,
Like, all the biggest gyms, like Gracie Barra, Sydney Jiu-Jitsu Academy and all them, they do that. And as far as business goes, it makes sense. But you are being an asshole. Or you're just a dick. But it works.
yeah. But they probably have their own argument there. Like, they're fucking,
There's plenty of good arguments for it. Like, it looks better in pictures and whatever else.
looks better.
It does. That's what they say. I've spoken to people like this. They're like, man, do you know how good it looks like when you've got everybody together, like in that one gi? And the truth is, it does look good. It looks good.
But doesn't it look like a fucking mental asylum when everyone's like wearing a fucking straitjacket? Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I don't know. It obviously works as a business model, and maybe as a business owner, maybe I'm doing something wrong by not doing that. But I just don't think I could ever make somebody do that, like, or wear like a gym gi. I think the mentality should be is if you have a good enough gym, right, and people are super proud to be in that gym, then they'll want to buy your gym gi and like wear them colors because they feel like part of the team, and they feel like they're at home and honoured to wear it. But I don't think it should be forced or thrust
Yeah,
upon
I
somebody.
think so for sure. I think like when I was in Igor's MMA, what I liked is that I went out and bought my own gi. I've trained in that gi, and then whatever later I was like, "Hey Igor, man, do you have any patches, gym patches?" He's like, "Yes, I do." Like here, I took them, I went home, and I put them on myself on my gi, and I had Igor MMA patches because I was proud of the gym. I wanted to represent my gym. I wanted to go to the comp and have fucking Igor MMA, stuff on my gi. That's what it's about. It's not about him forcing me to do it,
This patch on. Put this patch on.
Yeah, put this patch on.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like they're making you. It's a cult, exactly. Becoming a little cult, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't want to say that, and I don't want to make any disrespect to
No.
gym owners that do have that in their gym, because it does work, and it honestly is a good business model.
What their argument could be? It's about discipline. It's about strictness.
No, but well, think about this: the psychology of it, man. If you come into a gym, my gym, for example, and somebody wants to sign up, and I say, look, yeah, you can sign up, but you're going to spend $250 on a gi, and you have to join a 6-month contract. And you don't have any other option. You pay for the gi, right? You're going to be there for 6 months, and you're going to train. Whereas in our gym, I'm like, oh, there's no contracts, and you can just rock up and do whatever you want. But psychologically, it doesn't make you make that big commitment to train. You might turn up 2 or 3 times, and that's it. Like, there is something behind forcing somebody to buy a gym gi. Like, it does make people train more.
It does.
Into the thing. So there's a lot of good things behind it. I just don't agree with it.
Because I've noticed that because I teach beginners when they come to come and wrestle, and I know by looking at some people that in 2-3 lessons they're going to be broken and they're not going to come back. Right? I already know this. So what you're saying is that if they would get stuck in that 6 months membership, that will make them come back, even though they're fucking broken, because they're already paid. Yeah. That could be good, just to get them past that broken stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because that broken stage is, everyone's got it, We just got to get past it. Yeah. So it could be a good thing. It could be.
Yeah.
But it's savage, man. No one wants to fucking fork out $1,000 in a fucking gym and then roll around with sweaty dudes.
I know, but yeah, it works. So yeah.
What about you? What are you gonna do in the future, Cal? What are your plans, man? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve, bro? You
Man, that's a really hard question, because I've been thinking about it a lot. Like, there's a lot of smaller comps here in Sydney which are actually really good. Like, you think about Grappling Industries and Oz Sub Only in those comps. Like, Tito's almost made a career out of that, because those comps are what make you known, like, really well on that local level circuit. And you can, like, think about the amount of privates that you've generated out of that, and the amount of, like, business, because jiu-jitsu is your pretty much career now. And I was doing that for a while and loved it. It's heaps of fun. But now my mindset is that I kind of feel like these comps, right, are more so for the other guys in this gym, because I'm coaching in the gym and running the gym, and it's such a good platform for all of these guys who are up and coming to get their name out there and start turning jiu-jitsu into a career. So my goal this year is more so just to try and get super fights and fights outside of that and the bigger comps overseas. I'm not really as concerned with these smaller competitions, just because I feel like I was doing them a lot more like a couple of years back, and now, I don't know, it's the next generation's turn, like, to start taking on them comps and building themselves up and making a career out of it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure.
How do you think we can generate more money in BJJ, so that guys like him can make more money, and guys like you can make more money? How is that? How can that be done?
It's hard, man, because jiu-jitsu is actually a pretty, especially gi jiu-jitsu, it's actually, for a lay person, it's a pretty boring sport to watch. Like, it's never going to be a sport like tennis where anyone can watch it on the TV and and everybody can enjoy it. Yeah, it's basic, it's easy to understand, so it's hard to understand. And in a way, the only people that watch jiu-jitsu are people that do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So it's honestly really hard, man. Like, it's so hard. Unless you've got heaps more people doing jiu-jitsu, it's always going to be a struggle to make money out of it. As a sponsor, like, I own half of Sub Apparel, the brand. So I know, like, firsthand as a sponsor that there's not really much to be made out of sponsoring a jiu-jitsu athlete other than maybe getting more sales of your gi brand. Like, there's just not that much money in the sport. It's just the way it is, you know? Unless you're the best in the world, like up there, you're really going to struggle, or a businessman.
Yeah, I think that another thing I noticed is that there is content. See, what people are not understanding, that there is content that could be sold, and with that content you promote all the other things like supplements and gis and whatnot. But there's not a lot of people doing like getting this content on video. You know what I mean? Because to start it, you got to put in so much of your own time. There's no money in it. You got to build it up yourself. Like Matt Morrison, our friend Matt. He does a lot of video. He's been trying a lot for, I've noticed, to kind of get into that market where he understands that there is content here. I mean, there's competitions that he can film and blah, 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 and things like that. But, man, there's no one doing it. Like,
Man,
no one's grabbing the opportunity because
I think the opportunity seems heaps easier than it actually is. Like, I don't know how much time you spent with Matt Morris, but that guy's like a workhorse. Like, he is like one of the most dedicated guys. Like, puts so much effort into everything that he does, like everything that he does in life. Like, you know, when you just hang out with somebody and you can just tell that they're not a lazy person. Yeah. Like, and they're just switched on. Like, that's the aura or vibe that you get from Matt. You can just tell that he's really passionate about everything that he does. And he's been working at building these videos, which are excellent. Like, you've seen his videos. Amazing videos, everyone. Like, everybody who sees his videos says that they're amazing. Yeah. Like, absolutely amazing. If it was in any other sport, I think that would be his full-time career. But 6-7 years, well, he's been doing his whole life, but jiu-jitsu videos, maybe like 6 years, 7 years on. Yeah. And he still can't make it a career. So, I know what you're saying, that, yeah, there is all this content, but the truth is, how do you monetize that? It's still not popular enough to monetize it. Yeah. Like, yeah, and Matt Morris is a great example because he's got like an eye for it. Like, he's really good at creating content. He's got like, an excellent skill. Yeah. And it just doesn't, well, obviously it pays off to some extent, but it's just not utilized as much as it could be. So I wish that Matt Morris could do that full time because it's just such untapped skill, I think. Like, yeah. Well, maybe I think with all these athletes, like in MMA, like, you got Alexander Volkanovski, you got Joshua Kolibao that just signed up, you got Tyson Pedro, you got Tuivasa. We got quite a few athletes that are based here in Sydney that I think if we all of us kind of work together, then it can generate media and content which people will watch, which is associated with MMA, BJJ, and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. So maybe in the future, because a lot of it was based in America, all the stars were in America, but slowly but surely we're getting some fighters. We're getting some champions. We got Tito here. You watch out for Tito. Eh? And he's scrumptious. So good looking, Him and Titty Milk will dominate the world. The milkman. The new thing is milkman. I put the hashtag mother's milk. What? I'm gonna hashtag this video as the hashtag mother's milk. And then I think Laura, she pointed me out. She's like, it's a weird hashtag if you put on it. Because I clicked on it and it's just legit babies breastfeeding. Oh my god. I was like, oh. So I stopped doing it. So I'm gonna milkman is the hashtag milkman. Hashtag milkman. I'm gonna deliver some more. I think it's good, but it's good exposure for mothers,
what,
for how many seconds?
what you guys, what you guys think anyway?
Oh man, I think that was handed to McGregor. Like
Yeah.
it was.
Like, really?
I think like okay, so McGregor is one of the biggest money generators for UFC
100%.
ever. When he comes back, if he lost, it wouldn't have affected McGregor. Well, it would have affected McGregor horribly, but that affects the UFC as well. Like you think about how much money the UFC makes off McGregor, they don't want him to lose.
So you're saying
So they had to give him somebody that looks amazing, right? And hand him up on a plate that stylistically is going to lose to McGregor because it's a good business decision for the UFC.
that would have been a hard one, man. Cerrone's actually good. Bro.
He's good, man, but he just fights a lot. He fights heaps, right? And I just think that people's perception of how good he is because he wins all the time, because he's fighting all the time. No one fights more than him, right? But I reckon that was almost a matchup because they had to have McGregor win. Like if he came back and fought Khabib again and lost again, like then who's McGregor? Like no one even cares about him anymore. But he comes back, he destroys this guy, and now McGregor's somebody again, and everybody wants to see him fight again.
Do you think he deserves a rematch with Khabib straight up? Or do you reckon he should fucking go and maybe versus somebody else?
Man, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, man, so I'm not a huge MMA guy. So
Oh man, I want him Masvidal because I think
I personally think like everyone thinks Masvidal will munch Conor. If it comes to punch for punch, Masvidal will eat him. But dude, like if you look at Conor's style, he's got such a good style, man. He hits without being hit. Like that's the whole purpose of his fight. Others just go in there and just hit for hit. You know, just whoever gets the stronger punch. But his style of fighting is amazing.
I've also got a feeling that everyone reckons that Conor doesn't have a ground game, but he's been training with Dylan Danis for like 5 years now.
And everyone thinks Dylan Danis' jiu-jitsu is like crap.
But he's an absolute animal. Like he's a beast, man.
yeah.
Like he's controversial, so like a lot of people don't like him. I personally don't like him because of he is a controversial person. He's pretty full on, but his jiu-jitsu is amazing. It's awesome. So you spend 5 years, 4 or 5 years training with one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world, and you don't think his jiu-jitsu is going to be good? Like it's so underrated how good he is.
Gordon Ryan at the last ADC, not the 2019 but 2017, he beat Dylan Danis just on decision, bro. Yeah, like I thought like Gordon was going to tap him out. But no, it was a decision, man. It was an even match. Only towards the end he caught him in a leg attainment, but still didn't tap him out. So like,
Yeah.
Wow.
he's up there, bro. Like,
Yeah.
he's good. He's very good.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I would like to see Masvidal versus Conor, 100%.
Usman and Masvidal, man. That would be a good fight.
Usman
That'd be better.
Masvidal.
I'd rather watch that than Conor Masvidal.
Like Usman,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
then says Masvidal.
Yeah.
There's some good matchups.
Yeah.
There's some fucking good matchups.
Yeah, that division has suddenly become pretty stacked. It's awesome.
Yeah. Right. All right. Anyway, let's end this. Thanks,
All right.
boys.
No
We'll
worries.
do it
Thank you,
again.
Man,
Thank you, bro.
definitely do that, man.
Good luck and fucking blah blah blah.